Spider-Man Brand New Day is one of the most anticipated Marvel films. By the end of No Way Home, Peter Parker made the ultimate sacrifice. He erased himself from everyone's memory. That means MJ doesn't remember him, Happy doesn't, and most importantly, Ned doesn't either. This isn't just a plot reset, it's a creative reset. Marvel now has the opportunity to rebuild these characters from scratch. The emotional weight of losing his identity, his friendships, and his connection to the world around him, especially with people like Ned, could be the springboard for something much darker. Let's look at it from a story perspective. Without his friendship with Peter, Ned is now a blank canvas. He no longer has that steady friend who always kept him grounded. He's alone in a world that doesn't recognize him. That loss could be his breaking point. In the comics, Ned Leeds becomes tangled with the Hobgoblin identity. While he wasn't the original Hobgoblin, he was used as a scapegoat for someone else's actions. This angle could be repurposed for the MCU, not as a direct copy, but as a fresh take on the same concept. Ned even mentioned in No Way Home that he wouldn't turn into a supervillain and kill Peter.
I won't turn into a supervillain and try to kill you.
That line could foreshadow the events of Brand New Day. According to current reports and fan theories, Mr. Negative is highly expected to be the main villain in Spider-Man. If you don't know Mr. Negative, or Martin Lee's Darkseid owns Feast, an organization that serves the homeless and underprivileged in New York City. Mr. Negative corrupts individuals with his negative energy, which would be an ideal avenue to draw Ned in. What makes Mr. Negative so dangerous isn't just his powers, it's his ability to manipulate people's hearts and minds. He doesn't just turn people into villains, he twists their motivations, reshapes their self-image, and makes them do things they would have never imagined themselves doing. This is where the Hobgoblin identity could come in, not as a big theatrical reveal, but as a slow transformation. The audience would see Ned slowly morph into this new persona, not with a dramatic costume change overnight, but with more subtle shifts. Maybe he doesn't even call himself Hobgoblin at first. Maybe it's a name given to him by people like J. Jonah Jameson, who exists in the MCU, by the way, who sees him as just another dangerous vigilante. Ned could still be studying at MIT after finally being accepted because of Doctor Strange's memory wipe. After No Way Home, it's possible that Green Goblin's tech stayed behind. MIT could have gotten the tech for research purposes because MIT is much more than just a school. It's a world-leading research institution with advanced labs across nearly every scientific and engineering field. So it would make sense for Green Goblin's technology to stay there. Ned would have access to steal Green Goblin's tech, so if he gets corrupted by Mr. Negative, he could steal it anytime he wants. That would explain how Ned, or in this case Hobgoblin, got his weapons. Peter, on the other hand, could be working at the Daily Bugle. It fits the new direction: broke, alone, anonymous. Surrounded by crime reports, rumors, and underground activity, Peter could be in the perfect position to investigate the criminal underworld without immediately putting on the Spider-Man suit. Peter working at the Bugle would make a lot of sense, especially if Mr. Negative is the main villain. If Marvel did adapt this storyline, the emotional weight of this movie would be crazy. Peter has already gone through a lot, and now he has to fight his best friend who he still loves. Peter still remembers their times together in Spider-Man, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. But Ned doesn't remember any of it. To him, Peter's just another face in the crowd. That emotional imbalance opens the door to some really intense moments. Peter might hesitate to fight him, he might try to reason with him, but if Ned is being manipulated, there's nothing to reason with. That inner conflict could drive Peter into a darker place too. The audience would feel that tension. Every time they face off, it wouldn't just be hero versus villain. It would be two people who were once best friends, now standing on opposite sides without even knowing why. And after everything Green Goblin did in No Way Home, Peter seeing Ned become reminiscent of the Green Goblin would be heartbreaking for Peter. The Green Goblin was responsible for Aunt May's death, a trauma that nearly pushed Peter over the edge. Seeing his best friend don similar gear, exhibiting similar behaviors, would be like reopening a barely healed wound. That wouldn't be the only way Mr. Negative could mess with Peter emotionally. I mentioned earlier that Mr. Negative, or Martin Lee, owns Feast. Feast is the organization where Aunt May used to work before she died in No Way Home, so Martin Lee would have known Aunt May before her demise. That connection alone could be emotionally relevant. This wouldn't just elevate Ned's character, it would also deepen Peter's arc. Brand New Day could explore how losing everything, his family, his friends, his identity, affects Peter in ways we haven't seen yet. Ned as the Hobgoblin wouldn't be a traditional villain. He wouldn't be evil for the sake of evil. His descent would be tragic, a result of manipulation and lost connections. This makes him a more relatable and sympathetic antagonist, adding layers to the story. His actions, while villainous, would stem from a place of pain and confusion. This gray area blurs the lines between hero and villain, making the narrative more engaging and thought-provoking. Whether Marvel actually turns Ned into Hobgoblin or not, the potential is there. They've set the stage for a much more personal, heartbreaking conflict, one where the villain isn't a stranger but a lost friend, one where Peter's greatest threat isn't someone trying to destroy the city, but someone who doesn't even remember ever loving him like a brother. It's not just about cool suits or comic book nods anymore. It's about consequences, about grief, about what happens when a hero is forced to fight someone he still believes can be saved. Spider-Man Brand New Day doesn't need to be the biggest Spider-Man movie, it just needs to be the most emotional. And giving Ned this arc might be the boldest, most unforgettable choice Marvel could make.